Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all a very simple strategy that I used to double my money on a trade last week and that you can use to double your money as well in the future, right? Now, before we begin, do not forget to annihilate the like button on your way in. And also don't forget to click on that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, all right? So let's begin right off the bat. So the trade that I took last week was on Apple. All right. And here's the strategy. The strategy is this. Now, the reason why I took that trade is for a simple reason. And for those of y'all who are beginners, you want to pay attention to this. If you look on the 15-minute time frame and you zoom out, right? You can clearly see that there is a very bullish structure on there, and the structure is right over here. If you look closely, this right there is called a double bottom bull flag. If you go on Google and you type double bottom bull flag, you can see that this simple structure right here is the pattern that I was looking for Apple. It was there, it is clean, and the opposite worked, especially during a downtrend. For those of you who have been subscribed to the channel, you've seen me use this before on some specific callouts, all right, and it's been lucrative for a while. And again, this is the opposite, but this is the one that we've looked for Apple. If we go back on Think or Swim, this is when I got in. If you look on here, this is the Discord. So as soon as the stock broke out, and the breakout point was right around $151. As soon as that happened, I decided to buy calls, the $143 calls that expires next week on June 3rd for $250 each. Here is the chart for that contract. So this is the chart. This is the Apple, that contract right here. And the entry was right over here. Like if we zoom onto the chart of that structure, right? The entry was right here, right at 10 o'clock. Again, $250 per contract. And the from this point on, like the trade becomes extremely simple. If the stock is supposed to behave, if the setup looks as clean as it does, all right, it's not supposed to go right back in here and go below 140. As you can see, I had an alert right here. That's the stop loss alert at 140, because in trading, again, it's very important to manage your risk. And some plays, even though they look good, they may fail. But in this specific situations, a lot of other things was going well and was indicating that the overall market was just very, very strong and more money was going to flood in. All right, so moving on forward, we're just holding those calls, and Apple just kept going higher and higher. It went from 150, 150 all the way up to 153. All right. And when it got to that point, when it got to the high of the day, which was around 144, I sold a little bit with the intent to add more for tomorrow if it was to close inside of that circle. All right. Now, you don't really have to sell at that point. Like you really, really don't. If the structure is clean, it's just supposed to go up and just stay up there, or just consolidate until the end of the day and eventually keep going higher. And as you can see, it dipped a little bit, but eventually it closed pretty strong, and it got in that circle. All right, now moving on to the next day, and this was on Friday. We're gonna go back onto Think or Swim, right? And this is the contract. We gotta look at Apple. And Apple, as soon as the market opened, it started to run. It opened up very, very high, which was good. Again, a strong close right here, a gap up, and more volume at the open. It ran from $155 all the way up to $158. I started selling on Friday Right when, right at, let's see here, what time is this? 8:41. I took a little bit off. Right when it got to, let's see, take a swim. All right, at 8:41, which was right here, at around like 146.50, right? And then I decided to hold the rest until it got to at least $148, right? So I was just looking for that push for it to go higher and higher, and then when eventually when it got really really close at exactly 9:29, I decided to get out of all of those calls when the contracts got to, let's see here, when the contract got to $600 per contract. All right, that's when I exited out completely out of Apple. As you can see, it's a very simple technique and yet very powerful when it works. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it can pop out, right? But in a very weak market, it can immediately roll back and form a bull trap at the top. But in this situation, the overall market was down, volume was down, everything has been getting crushed for a long time, for like 7 weeks, and then money started to flood into all types of sectors, like tech sectors, the SPY, the Dow Jones. All of the structures were lining up perfectly to give confidence to hold for this specific trade right here, right? Now, some other setups that were present at that time. I shared that video with y'all on, I believe it was on Thursday night. We had something like Starbucks as well, which did really, really well. This is called a bullish pennant for those of y'all who are new to trading. The structure was there and the follow through was there as well. And some people were able to make some money on that. Now, moving forward to the P&L on how some of our traders did. If you look over here, again, I bought the 143 call options for next week. All right. And some people bought the 150 call options. Again, it eventually got to 150, which was the initial price target that I put out when I took the trade. It eventually got there. As you can see, somebody was able to make $470 on that contract. And they also took a trade on BLK. I think this is BlackRock, if I'm not mistaken. Another trader was a bit more aggressive with the expiration of the Apple contracts. They bought the contracts that expire on Friday, on the 27th, and made a good chunk of money on there. I think that for that trade, it ended up being like 1,000% gain. Somebody made 140% on Apple, and here it is. This is what I'm talking about. So the contract went up by like 1,400%. So shout out to that person for making a killing on Apple. And yeah, that's pretty much the basis of that entire trade. And yeah, that is the end of the video. Again, if you like this video, do not forget to demolish the like button for the YouTube algorithm. As always, if you are new to the channel, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you'd like to be part of our private Discord community, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't added me on social media yet, you can find me at Paul Nguma in the PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in the stock market, there are some very basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to step 3. It only takes about 15 minutes or less for you to get set up with all the tools you need to start trading immediately. You can also get some free stocks after signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Nguma with PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.